Hey, come on then.
Destiny swappers are often drawn to individuals with bright spirits, people who carry favor, purpose, light, and influence. This attraction is similar to how moths are irresistibly drawn to a flame. These individuals are not just attracted to the light they radiate spiritually, but also to their physical beauty. The external allure of beauty symbolizes confidence, vitality, and favor, qualities that can indicate a deeper spiritual essence.
I think you're a moth, drawn to shiny things, just desperate to get in.
Much like moths to a flame, destiny swappers are magnetically drawn to those who shine brightly, whether it's through their spiritual presence or their physical attractiveness. The physical beauty draws them in first, but it's the underlying favor and purpose they truly seek. By getting close to these individuals, they hope to siphon off their light, imitate their energy, or even take their place. Whether through admiration, flattery, or manipulation, destiny swappers work their way into the lives of those they want to absorb from. In dark spiritual practices, some people go as far as using rituals, deception, or energy work to reroute or delay another person's purpose for personal or demonic gain. This is especially common when someone is born into a prominent or wealthy family, or if they're beautiful, favored, or clearly destined for success. Those kinds of destinies are highly coveted. However, simply being wealthy doesn't guarantee someone will try to swap destinies with you. Look at the siblings from the Gossip Girl series, for instance. Serena and Eric Vanderwoodson were both born into privilege, but if you had to guess whose destiny would be more likely targeted, it would clearly be Serena's. Why? Because of her beauty, natural magnetism, influence, and the obvious favor on her life that made others see her as someone who would succeed no matter what. People target what shines. Before someone can hijack your destiny, they first need proximity. They have to study you, mimic you, and slowly work their way into your world, not because they admire you, but because they want what you have. They don't just want to be like you, they want to be you. In Saltburn, Oliver doesn't just stumble into Felix's life, he studies him. From the moment they meet at Oxford, Oliver watches Felix closely. How he moves, how people react to him, how he speaks, what makes him desirable, powerful, and magnetic. At first it seems like admiration, but in the spiritual realm, what looks like admiration can often be camouflage for covetousness. Oliver carefully crafts his way into Felix's circle. He becomes what Felix needs, harmless, humble, and loyal, so he can gain access. That access eventually becomes possession. And by the end of the film, Oliver doesn't just have Felix's life. He's erased Felix entirely, taking his place like a thief in the night. I want to talk about dark spiritual principle of destiny swaps, how they happen, how proximity plays a major role, and why it's not just about imitation, it's about infiltration. This isn't just fiction. It's a dramatized version of something that happens spiritually to real people every day. Destiny theft is never random, it's strategic. Spirits that drive these swaps look for people who carry favor, beauty, influence, or purpose. They then assign someone to get close enough to contaminate or commandeer what's meant for you. Oliver doesn't barge into Felix's life. He studies him, he observes. He plays the long game. He creates a narrative of struggle so Felix will let his guard down. But that sympathy? It's just a spiritual tactic, a tool for access. He even orchestrates a bike accident to spark a connection. A classic move in manipulation, create a situation where the target feels responsible, compassionate, or obligated. Before a destiny swap can occur, there must be proximity. Through friendship, emotional intimacy, physical closeness, or spiritual agreement, the moment Felix feels comfortable with Oliver, the real transfer begins. And this is exactly how it works in the spirit realm. Access equals authority. When you give access to the wrong person, they can start feeding off of what was meant for you. Oliver doesn't want to just be close to Felix, he wants to become him. This is the definition of a mimicking spirit. These spirits assign people to mirror your personality, your voice, your style, and your favor. Oliver lies about his upbringing, presenting himself as the poor outcast who suffers in silence. He tells Felix his family is abusive, that he's unloved, but this is part of the seduction. Pity disarms, sympathy opens doors. Felix initially brings Oliver into his world out of curiosity, charm, or even pity, but Oliver quickly becomes too emotionally dependent and overly involved in Felix's life. Felix seems to enjoy playing the generous, charismatic host, but Oliver's attachment starts to cross boundaries that Felix likely didn't anticipate. Oliver isn't just a friend. He becomes increasingly invasive, emotionally needy, and starts to blur the lines between admiration and obsession. Oliver weaponizes sympathy to manipulate Felix after being pushed away. When Felix begins to distance himself, Oliver fabricates a story about his father dying, tapping into Felix's compassion and privilege-induced guilt. There's a lot of conversation online these days about the difference between being nice and being kind, especially when it comes to setting boundaries and not people-pleasing. But what often gets overlooked is that people from certain backgrounds, like aristocracy, are taught to be nice as a standard of behavior. It's part of their upbringing, a reflection of discipline, elegance, and social expectation. Someone like Felix was nice in that way because people like him are taught to be. But what made him stand out was that he wasn't just performing politeness, he was also truly kind-hearted. His niceness wasn't just learned behavior, it was rooted in genuine compassion, and that's rare. He carried both the etiquette of his world and the sincerity of a good soul. Oliver takes advantage of Felix's good nature. It's a calculated move. Oliver knows that Felix, raised in an environment where appearances and social grace matter, won't ignore someone in emotional distress.
Home doesn't mean the same for me as it does for you, Felix.
Come home with me. Come to Saltburn.
This lies Oliver's way of regaining access, not just to Felix emotionally, but to his world, his estate, and his family. By playing the role of the tragic, humble outsider, Oliver gets reinvited, this time into the very heart of Felix's life, Saltburn, his coveted possession.
Wow. Wow. Just wow.
Earlier in the film at Oxford, Felix casually tells Oliver that Evelyn Waugh, the author of Brideshead Revisited, based the characters in his novel on Felix's own family. And he's not joking. He says it like it's common knowledge. It's our first clue that Felix's family doesn't just come from money. They come from legacy, the kind of legacy that shapes literature and British cultural memory. Later, when Felix gives Oliver a tour of the estate, that sense of legacy gets even more extreme. He points out King Henry VIII room, and with a smirk, claims there's still king spunk in the sheets. Felix's family probably is aristocracy. The estate is real. The Oxford prestige is real. The literary reference? Also real. Evelyn Waugh did base his novels on upper-class families like Felix's. They are everything Oliver is not. This is what makes their world so intoxicating and so dangerous, because people like Oliver, they don't just admire it, they want in, at any cost. Once inside Saltburn, Oliver doesn't just admire the family, he begins orchestrating his takeover. With quiet calculation, he tailors his approach to each family member, exploiting their weaknesses, mirroring their desires, and making himself indispensable. Oliver slurping the water Felix just relieved himself in isn't just disturbing, it's deeply symbolic. Spiritually, water represents essence, life force, and purification. Ingesting someone's bathwater, especially with their semen in it, is a grotesque metaphor for trying to internalize their essence. This act reflects the darkest level of spiritual possession, absorption, the kind that says, I'll take what's left of you, your residue, your fragments, your imprint. It's a ritual act, feeding off of remnants to complete a transformation. It's the spiritual equivalent of consuming someone's anointing. This story mirrors the first destiny thief, Lucifer. He didn't just want proximity to God, he wanted God's throne, his worship, his authority. Isaiah 14:13-14. I will ascend to the heavens. I will make myself like the Most High. But that didn't happen. He was cast down, stripped of his position, and ever since his fall, he's been on a mission to collect the souls of God's people, stealing destinies, corrupting callings, and distracting them from their divine purpose. Destiny theft is a Luciferian principle, and those who engage in it, whether knowingly or unknowingly, are aligning themselves with that same spirit.
Has Venetia seen you yet? Oh my God, she'll die.
Venetia Catton is one of the most unsettlingly tragic figures in Saltburn, and yet she's also one of the most spiritually significant. Her eating disorder, emotional outbursts, and general discomfort in her own skin aren't random. They're the byproducts of being in an environment that's both spiritually hostile and emotionally invalidating. And let's talk about how Oliver got close to her. He doesn't just manipulate Venetia emotionally, he seduces her in the most invasive way possible.
It's not the right time of the month.
Just lucky for you, I'm a vampire.
The scene where he goes down on her is more than just shock value. It's symbolic. It's ritualistic. Just like a parasite feeds off its host, Oliver literally consumes the family, one member at a time. That moment mirrors the grotesque scene with Felix's bathwater. These aren't isolated acts. They are ritualistic, deliberate, and rooted in a spiritual hunger. Oliver isn't just infiltrating the family socially, he's ingesting them, body and soul, feeding off their vulnerability, beauty, wealth, and status. Venetia's passing feels more like a spiritual sacrifice. Oliver lays the razor blades by her bath like an offering, It's as if her death completes a dark initiation, one that clears the way for Oliver to fully possess Saltburn. Farleigh is the only one who sees through Oliver and tries to sound the alarm. Farleigh's hatred for Oliver and Saltburn runs deeper than class resentment or jealousy. It's a projection of his own buried insecurities. Farleigh is technically part of the elite world, but only by a thread. He's Felix's cousin through Felix's father's sister, a woman who was cut off by the family, yet Felix's father is still paying for Farleigh's education at Oxford. That means Farleigh exists in a strange social limbo, connected by blood, but not truly equal in status.
I mean, we're your family. We hardly even notice that you're different or anything like that. My father has been more generous than most people would be. Maybe we've done all that we can.
He's close enough to touch privilege, but not enough to claim it as his own. So when Oliver shows up, Farleigh sees him for exactly what he is, because he's just like him. It takes one to know one. That's why Farleigh is the only one who sees through Oliver, while everyone else is fooled. Oliver becomes the mirror Farleigh can't stand to look into, and rather than confront what that says about himself, Farleigh projects his self-loathing outward. Oliver recognizes it too. When Farleigh made him sing "You Pay My Rent," Oliver asked him to finish it, saying, "It's your song too," alluding to the fact that they're no different.
You tell him. This is your song as well, Farleigh. Come finish it.
Flattery will get you everywhere. This saying is often used to suggest that people, especially women, can be swayed or influenced through compliments and praise. While not necessarily gender-specific, it can imply that flattery is a powerful tool in winning someone's favor. Elspeth Catton's downfall is a cautionary tale about the dangers of craving external validation. Her weakness for flattery isn't just a flaw in her character. It's a reflection of how easily the desire for admiration can make someone vulnerable to manipulation. She becomes so consumed by the praise she receives that she fails to see the insidious intentions behind it.
Because what? Because you're so fucking beautiful.
In a world where appearances are everything, Elspeth's need to be seen as desirable and powerful blinds her to the truth, ultimately leading to her tragic fate. This speaks to a deeper lesson. When we rely on flattery and validation to define our worth, we risk losing sight of our true strength and allowing others to take advantage of us. By the end of the film, Elspeth's blindness to Oliver's manipulation culminates in her signing off her entire estate to him, all based on nothing more than the empty flattery he fed her. It's a devastating reminder of how superficial charm can cost us everything if we're not careful. Finally, Felix finds out about Oliver's lies when he answers his phone. To his surprise, Oliver's mom sounds totally coherent, the complete opposite of the unstable alcoholic Oliver had described her to be. Suspicious, Felix decides to surprise Oliver with a road trip to his hometown. And when they get there, everything unravels. He finds out Oliver comes from an upper-middle-class family, with a tidy suburban home and a mom who clearly cares about him.
Oliver!
Happy birthday, love.
Your father's in the garden.
His father?
But it doesn't stop there. Felix also learns that Oliver's dad is alive. This completely shatters the narrative Oliver had built. He claimed to have gotten into Oxford against all odds, as a scholarship kid from a broken home. But getting into Oxford requires top grades, excellent schooling, and strong references. Everything Oliver told him was a complete fabrication, and Felix realizes it in that moment. Yet despite everything, Felix still takes him back to Saltburn for one more night. The night they were supposed to celebrate Oliver's birthday.
Why would you lie?
Wait.
I think the best thing is that you go home after your party. I will see you back at Oxford.
That was a huge mistake. Once you see someone's true nature, when the mask finally slips, you have to cut them off right then and there. Giving them one more chance, one more night, one more open door, can cost you everything. And for Felix, it did. That one last night turned out to be his last forever. Oliver was already unraveling, already obsessed. Once Felix pulled away and made it clear he wanted nothing more to do with him, Oliver became desperate.
Hands ignore me forever.
I can try.
He followed Felix everywhere, clinging to him, trying to get him alone, because he knew the clock was ticking. His access, his fantasy, his chance at Felix's world was slipping away. That night, Oliver takes Felix's life. And here's where the symbolism becomes impossible to ignore. The night Oliver takes Felix's life, the very night he completes the destiny swap, Felix is dressed as an angel, wearing white wings, glowing with light and innocence. Meanwhile, Oliver wears devil horns. It's not subtle. This was a visual prophecy, hiding in plain sight. Felix represents purity, legacy, and light. He was born into favor, love, and effortless abundance. He didn't have to fight for attention or scramble for identity, he simply was. And that made him a target. Oliver, on the other hand, is cast as the devil, manipulative, deceptive, and willing to do anything to possess what wasn't his. He isn't just taking a life. He's symbolically killing the angelic archetype to ascend in his place. This costume party is more than just a scene. It's a ritual. The roles are assigned, the fate is sealed. When Oliver ends Felix's life, it's not just murder, it's a spiritual inversion. The angel falls and the devil rises. When Oliver violates Felix's grave, it's not just grotesque, it's a final chilling display of how deeply disturbed Destiny thieves can be. Even in death, Felix isn't safe. Oliver finally does what he's wanted to do all along, alone and uninterrupted. It's not about grief, it's about ownership. That moment reminded me of Single White Female, when Hedra thinks she offed Allison after a brutal struggle, only to kiss her tenderly afterward. It's twisted. It's obsessive. It's love and hate in the same breath. These kinds of people don't just want your life, they want you too. If they could lock you away somewhere while parading around as you, and having you as their sexual toy, they would. But deep down, they know you'd never allow it. So instead, they end you. Because to them, your existence is the one thing standing in the way of their fantasy becoming reality, becoming you. By the end of Saltburn, the destiny swap is complete. Oliver has taken everything, Felix's life, his legacy, his place in the mansion. He dances through Saltburn naked, triumphant, not in grief, but in victory. And the most chilling part? He gets away with it. No punishment, no consequences. Just a full transfer of identity, favor, and fortune. What we witnessed wasn't just a psychological thriller, it was a ritual, a hijacking, a warning. Because when envy meets access and darkness wears a charming smile, even destinies can be stolen. And that final scene, Oliver dancing naked through the estate, mirrors ancient ritual magic. Just like witches who dance naked under the full moon at midnight to seal their spell work, Oliver's dance is the closing ceremony of his dark transformation. The sacrifice is complete. The power has shifted, and now he becomes the chosen one.